Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back to another ultimate review by PureCast9. In today's episode, I'm going to give you the most in-depth and unbiased review of the boAt Aavante Bar 1160. So this is a soundbar, and trust me, for the price it comes at, the quality it offers is really surprising and in the good way. So before I give you my verdict as to how it sounded in all my testing, let's go through some of the specs that this soundbar offers. So the boAt Aavante Bar 1160 is a 60 watt RMS output soundbar. It has four 2.25-inch dynamic drivers packed inside, which produces all the highs, the mids, and the lows. Now in terms of connectivity options, you have Bluetooth version 5, aux input, and coaxial. It also comes with its own remote, and with this remote you can do all the functions that this soundbar offers. Starting from the obvious, you can power it on, and apart from that you can change the mode, the inputs, whether you're using aux or Bluetooth or coaxial. You can even individually adjust the bass and treble, the volume, skip to the next track, and it also comes with 4 different EQ presets. So you have music, movies, news, and 3D. And I'll get to how they performed more or less individually when I give you my verdict of how it sounds. The remote is not of a flimsy feeling plastic. Yes, it is plastic, but it does feel good in the hand, and the fact that you can perform all these functions from the remote is a really good option. Now, one thing I should mention is that the boAt Aavante Bar 1160 does not have an inbuilt battery, so it comes with a power adapter and you need a constant power source to power this soundbar. Now, even though it is more or less lightweight, but it's not really ultra portable, but it is definitely portable, so you can take it around and use it as your Bluetooth speaker, but only if you have a power socket nearby where you can power this soundbar with. Now guys, in my opinion, the ideal usage scenario for the boAt Aavante Bar 1160 is with your TV. Because if you already haven't invested in a sound system for your TV, trust me, when you watch TV, if you're watching cricket matches, watching movies, listening to music, even on your TV, that measly speaker that is inbuilt in the TV produces a max of 20 watts and you don't get any bass. It's just a mixture of average mids and highs, and you miss out on a lot of exciting sound that otherwise you should experience. So if you don't really want to burn a hole in your pocket by investing in a sound system, or if you have lack of space and want something very sleek and slick and which goes with the look of the TV and looks really stealthy and mixes well with the ambience of your room, the boAt Aavante Bar 1160 is a great choice. You can connect to your TV via aux or coaxial or Bluetooth if your TV supports that, and you can get a far better movie watching, music listening, or just simple TV viewing experience thanks to its far better sound compared to what your TV originally offers. Now, on the side of the soundbar, you have some basic controls like the power button, which also changes the mode, and the volume rocker and the aux port. And at the back, you have a dedicated USB port to plug in your pen drive and play your favorite music. And you also have the coaxial port and the socket where you plug in the power cord. Now the soundbar can also be mounted on the wall. It comes with the mounting clamps, the screws, and everything you need to have this mounted on the wall. And they also provide you with the aux cable in case you want to use the aux option. So with all that said, now let's talk about the sound. How did this soundbar perform when I tested it with a wide genre of music, and how was the experience? So, you know guys, if you're an existing viewer, I never say it sounds good or it sounds bad. I delve deep and tell you that any sound that you hear is made up of 3 main frequencies: the highs, the mids, and the lows. So starting off with the highs, where the really sharp sounding instruments lie, the boAt Aavante Bar 1160 produces very clean, sharp, and crispy highs which sound very good even at max volume. So the highs were really sharp, not over sharpened, and it wasn't unpleasant to listen to this for longer periods of time, so the highs were really good. But I would still suggest you keep the volume to around 80 to 85% max. That is more than enough sound to fill your room, and that is, I think, where the sweet spot lies for the highs. Now coming to the mids where the vocals lie, vocals again sounded very pleasant, very bright, didn't sound hollow, and didn't also sound artificially brightened or sharpened. Vocals sounded good, and at 80 to 85% volume, again, that is the sweet spot, because anything you push above that puts a lot of strain on the drivers, and although it doesn't really distort or crackle, there were one or two rare occasions where at max volume, the highs would tend to just show a bit of disturbance, but that was very rare. And as soon as I reduced the volume to around 85%, that was gone for good. So that's something you should keep in mind. Now, this speaker does not have, or they don't mention any passive bass radiator, so I wasn't expecting much bass, but to my surprise, it does have a bit of punch to it. Now again, if you are going to upgrade from watching or listening to the sound of your TV, the inbuilt speaker of your TV, to this, you're definitely going to feel some bass and a lot of punch. But if you compare this to a dedicated subwoofer, obviously that is a very unfair comparison, because that is a dedicated woofer that produces those low frequencies. But for the soundbar, you cannot by any means say that the bass is absent. There is bass, maybe not as rich or as deep a bass as a dedicated passive bass radiator would be able to produce, but it is there, and as a companion for your TV, or even if you're listening to music using this as a Bluetooth speaker, the bass is sufficient. Again, one thing to note is that the moment you push the volume over 90%, the low end starts to feel a tad bit under strain and a tad bit hollow. So the sweet spot for all three frequencies are at the 85% volume mark. That is where each of these frequencies maintain their separate track, they don't interfere with each other, and they sound really good. Now, talking about the different EQ modes, I think right out of the box, it comes with the music mode. You change it to movies and you feel a slight difference in terms of the highs and mids, and maybe a tad bit of the bass. Not much difference between the music EQ and the movie EQ. But when you shift that to news, that EQ basically emphasizes on the mids, the vocals, because when you're watching news, it's mainly a person speaking or reading out the news, so vocals are most important. So news you would only use if you really want to highlight vocals. But in general, music would be the best, or movies if you need to. And the 3D sound, I feel, is a gimmick. It doesn't really make any difference. Rather, it made the sound a bit hollow. So I would avoid the 3D option and leave it to either music or movies. And as for the treble and bass, I think it goes up to 10 points, and there is no real way to know at which point you are. It's just that when you keep increasing the bass and the treble separately, the light, the LED light on the soundbar keeps blinking till you reach max, where it doesn't blink anymore. So I think it goes up to 10 points. So I leave it at around 5 for both treble and bass. And again, that is the sweet spot, at least in my opinion. So guys, that is my verdict. For $3,999, $4,000, the boAt Aavante Bar 1160 is a very good option. Whether you use it as a Bluetooth speaker or as a companion for your TV, you can't go wrong with this. So that's been the review, guys. If you're convinced that this soundbar is the speaker that you want, please may I request you to use the link of the speaker that I provided in the description below to make your purchase. It'll cost you zero extra, but it will help me run this channel and produce more and more quality content just for you guys. So now I'm going to leave you with a couple of tracks that I'm going to be playing at max volume from the boAt Aavante Bar 1160. You guys listen, form your judgment, and let me know in the comment section below what you think of the sound. Hit like on this video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe to PureCast 9 if you haven't already, share this video with your friends, and as always, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers!
This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire.